Good morning, everyone. It is Friday morning, March 20th, Erev Shabbos Parshas Vayachal Pekudei. Because we missed out yesterday's Dvar Torah, I wanted to share a quick thought with everybody, and hopefully you will find it somewhat interesting and somewhat relevant to the situation that we're facing now. We're facing now a very challenging time, and we're quite uncertain as to what the future holds. And when a person faces challenges in life, obviously one of the most important things to keep in mind and to be mechazik ourselves is in our emunah bitachon, and to realize that everything that's going on is coming from Hashem, and Hashem is controlling every large, small detail in our lives and everything in between. During challenges, at difficult times, it's particularly difficult to remember this and to react appropriately, but this is really part of the challenge, and I'd like to share with you a little chizuk that I found from the way David HaMelech dealt with a specific incident in his life and how he called upon his reservoir of bitachon to help him address a challenge in his life. David HaMelech faced many challenges in life. One of the larger ones was when he was overthrown and chased out of Yerushalayim by his son Avshalom. And the first night of the rebellion, when Avshalom rebelled against his father David, David left Yerushalayim with a small group of people, and as he was leaving Yerushalayim, the pasuk tells us, Shimi ben Gera yotzei yotzei umekalel. Shimi ben Gera was waiting outside, and as he saw David HaMelech leaving Yerushalayim, Shimi ben Gera unleashed a whole slew of curses against David and threw stones at him and terribly disrespected him and humiliated him. David's companion, David's chief of staff, Avishai ben Tzeruya, the pasuk tells us, said to David, Lama yikalel hakelev hameis hazeh es adoni hamelech ebra nava asira es roishai. Please allow me to step forward and kill Shimi and stop what is taking place. Avishai felt that Shimi was a Mari b'malchus. He was rebelling against David and he was chayiv misa. And David said to him, Mali v'lachem b'nei Tzeruya ki yikalel v'chi Hashem amar lo yikalel. David said to Avishai, leave him alone. Hashem clearly told him to curse. Let us not intervene into Hashem's plan. David demonstrated an enormous amount of self-control and restraint at this time, during a time that was very difficult for him. He was being chased, persecuted, humiliated. It was not a very balanced time in his life, and yet he was able to step forward and with emunah and bitachon say, it's not for us to respond, this is coming from Hashem. And we could all learn from how David functioned under pressure at that difficult time. But Rashi actually adds another dimension to this situation, and Rashi says on the words Hashem amar lo yikalel, that Hashem told him to curse. Rashi adds that what David was saying was Efshar Adam k'maisoi shehu roish l'Sanhedrin yikal es hamelech im lo shenemar lo me'es HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Remember, says Rashi, Shimi ben Gera was the head of the Sanhedrin. He was a great tzaddik. He was a political ally of David, and he was a very important person in David's malchus. And for the head of the Sanhedrin to come and to curse David was a very, very unusual thing for the head of the Sanhedrin to curse the king. And it was so unusual and so unpredictable that it must be was from Hashem. And this is what David was saying, and therefore it's the Yad Hashem, leave Shimi alone. The obvious question on Rashi is, what is Rashi doing? If it had not been such a great, unusual, unexpected event, if it was not Shimi who was cursing David, would it not have been the Yad Hashem? Is it only because it was Shimi ben Gera, the Av Sanhedrin, and how unusual and unexpected it is for him to curse the king, that allowed David to say that it's the Yad Hashem? It would seem that regardless of what happens, certainly David believes, no matter who curses him, no matter who bothers him, it's certainly the Yad Hashem. And it seems that Rashi is teaching us a very powerful lesson into how it was that David was able to see beyond what Avishai and the other Jews at that time saw, and David was able to paskin, do not kill Shimi, even though he would apparently have been a Mari b'malchus. And David was able to reach a higher level of emunah and bitachon at that time by doing something slightly different than what we typically do when we're faced with challenges in life and call upon our emunah and bitachon to support us. We typically see a challenge for what it is. It's a challenging situation, it's difficult, it's unknown, it's scary, we're not sure what to do. And then we reach into our reservoir of bitachon and emunah and we say, Hashem is in control, Hashem will help us be strong. David took this to the next level. And David said, in the very tragedy, in the very event which is taking place, which is attacking me, which is challenging me, I'm able to see the Yad Hashem. And how do I see it? Precisely because it's so inexplicable and unpredictable. The magnitude of the Rosh HaSanhedrin to curse the king is so unusual and so unexpected that this has to be something which HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself is directly engineering, and we should have confidence that we could stay out of it. Sometimes a person is faced with such a challenge, such a difficult situation, that it creates a crossroads. It can either weaken his bitachon, or he could step up and say, from that very challenge that I'm seeing, it's so difficult, and it's so difficult to understand how this can happen, that the tragedy itself speaks and tells me, and I see by looking at the tragedy, the Yad Hashem itself in the very tragedy. Not just do I look at the tzara and then say, I'll use my bitachon to help me fight it, but in the tragedy, in the events taking place themselves, a person is sometimes able to see the only way this could be happening is because Hashem is engineering it, and that itself is a great source of bitachon. And it seems that's what Rashi's telling us. That's what David was doing at that time. He was saying, the very challenge that I'm facing, the danger, the humiliation from Shimi must be coming from Hashem, because it's the Rosh HaSanhedrin himself, and there's no way this could be happening if it wasn't the Yad Hashem. At this point in our lives, we are living through unprecedented circumstances. In our lifetimes, we've never experienced quite something like this, both in terms of what we already know and in terms of the unknown, the sheer unknown and uncertainty of what the future holds. It's a very trying time, and we will be called upon to make decisions and rise to the various challenges that this situation will bring upon us in our homes, with our families, with our businesses, and with our communities. And we don't know exactly what those challenges will be and how we'll react to them. But our responses will be driven in great part by the degree of our bitachon, by the conviction that we're able to live by and react by that Hashem is controlling everything. And whatever we experience over the next few days and weeks, let's try to see it through this lens of what David HaMelech teaches us, how he reacted and how he saw the challenge he was facing. So while the unprecedented magnitude of what we're dealing with is very frightening, it's also a clear indication that this cannot be coming from any other source. This is directly the Yad Hashem, every dimension of it, and every implication, and the fact that we are limited in our ability to understand and react to it, and how it's spreading over the entire world, and completely something we realize we have no control over, should tell us that in the challenge itself should be conveying the message to us, this is Hashem doing this. And while it's frightening, it's also a direct source of comfort and reassurance. So although we have no idea what the future will hold, let's try to realize as we're seeing things unfolding clearly, not just use bitachon to counter the fright, but see in the challenge, this is clearly the Yad Hashem taking place. And although we have no idea how things will end, what can be more assuring than recognizing that what we are seeing is Hashem's hand at work? Wishing everyone and your families a safe and healthy Shabbos.